What do you got? So Greg Cosell,
Yes.
We've talked about this. Greg Cosell, in my opinion, Dustin feels this way, he's the most respected guy in terms of breaking down the tape. And when he talks about prospects, not only does he have the guy's been studying the film for 50 years or whatever it is, but what he does better than anybody else is that he keeps emotion out of it. He doesn't, everybody's like, oh, I love this guy. And he just looks at the film and gives you that. He as you mentioned earlier this morning, and you're right, he doesn't, know what they're doing with their friends or whatever. That stuff you don't know unless you talk to a player, unless you talk to. He's telling you what he sees on film, unemotional. No, I love this guy, I love that guy. And we talked about the fact that he liked Cam Ward. He thinks Cam Ward's the best quarterback in this draft. Everybody assumed that his second best quarterback would be Shedeur Sanders. That is not the case. I believe he had Shedeur Sanders as his third best quarterback. Yep. But the second best guy, I never even heard of this guy. What's his name again?
Tyler Shough.
Where did he play? I don't even know where he played.
He was Justin Herbert's backup at Oregon. He's played
That's right. He's been there for
7 years of college football, 3 at Oregon, 3 at Texas Tech this last year at Louisville.
Tyler Shough.
Oh, Shough is how it's pronounced?
I listened to like 17 Google pronunciations this morning.
Shough. I called one of his games last year.
I'm going to listen to that guy then, Tyler Shough. But we have Greg Cosell talking about
let's see what he said,
Tyler.
and then I want
Dustin's
take on this.
React.
To me, the next best tape, okay, of a college quarterback that I saw was Tyler Shough from Louisville. And I was fascinated by this kid. And I don't know where he's going to get drafted. It would not surprise me at all, Ross, if you start hearing his name, hear people start saying, well, he's going to start moving up. He's 24 years old. I've spoken to former GMs who say that's not an issue at all. If the guy plays 10 years, 12 years, so what? He'll be 36. Quarterbacks play at that age. There's an injury history that's probably a little more concerning. He's 6'5". He's 224. This kid, I loved his tape. He looks the part of an NFL quarterback. He's got clean mechanics. He stayed on the midline. These are the little details that I look for. So many college quarterbacks, they drift. They create their own pressure. They don't do the little details of the position. I mean, this kid played 7 years of college football. I think he's a higher level prospect. I really do. I did. I heard from people in the league who have seen him in person, and have stood next to him and watched him throw. And all those comments I got from people in the league were that, hey, you're 100% right. You just have to be around this kid and see him in person, which I obviously will at the Combine, but I haven't done that. I've been just watching tape. But normally, the tape tells you so much. I've also spoken to guys who have been GMs in the league who are not the least bit worried about his age. The injury history is a little more concerning. The age is not.
Now, one correction. Greg did say that he said he was 24.
25.
He's 25, and he'll be 26 the first month of the season. So he's a little older. We went through that with Brandon Weeden, although Brandon Weeden was like 28, I think. Wasn't he? Do you remember? Or was he 26?
He was 26 or 27.
If I loved the guy, it wouldn't stop me from drafting him, even at turning 26.
He was in the 2018 recruiting class, put it that way.
Yeah, this past season he played through 389 passes. He played a full year. His other 5 seasons in college football, he had, he was in and out, and he talked about the injury, and none of the numbers were particularly impressive before this year, and this year obviously had a good final season. Dustin, you said you covered some of his games. He played for Louisville this year.
Yeah, well, last year he played for Texas Tech.
Yeah, how many different teams did he play for? 4?
Three.
Oregon, Texas Tech, and Louisville.
Okay.
So last year I did Texas Tech at West Virginia. He was starting quarterback for Tech. In that game, it was a really, really tight game. It was kind of a nasty day. Weather wasn't great. He didn't have a great day, but late in the second half, dude, he snapped his leg in half in my game.
Oh, that was your game?
It was my game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal, dude. And, I actually thought his career was over at that point in time. Seeing the injury and knowing he's played football for 6 seasons.
Yeah.
For him to come back. And then, of course, Jeff Brom goes from Purdue, who obviously was a Louisville guy, is the coach there now. He's got a great pedigree. So I like the combination. He played in a system, multiple systems, that throw the football a lot. Oregon, obviously, Texas Tech threw it a lot when he was there with Joey McGuire 2 years ago, and then this year with Brom. He's a big kid, guys. I mean, 6'5", 225. I mean, when you see him, he's going to – in person, I did. He looks like Big Ben, dude. Like, he's a big, physical, takes over a room type of kid. So I like everything about him, but the injury concerns.
A lot of injuries,
And there were other injuries that happened prior to the injury that he had in my game. I think he may have had another ACL or a knee or something the previous year. He's been through a lot.
The 5 years before last year, he had never thrown more than 177 passes in a season. And this past year, he threw about 400. So, like, the rest, his other 5 years, he threw like 500 passes combined over 5 years. So, there's obviously been a lot of injuries. He's older. Are you surprised that Greg liked him this much?
No, I watched a ton of him this year at Louisville, and I was very impressed with the way he played. Not a lot of people talked about Louisville this year, but like they were a sneaky good team. At least their offense was when he was out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Mike. What's your thought? Who else have you heard likes him?
He's Todd McShay's number 4 quarterback.
Okay.
He's throwing at the combine, which is going to help him out.
Oh, yeah.
Sean King is a big fan of Shough.
Buddy Sean.
Now, I was talking to Sean because we're going to do a whole quarterback breakdown thing next week, and I was cutting some footage, and this is funny that we're doing this topic today because yesterday morning I was going through Tyler Shough footage to find certain throws that Sean kind of wanted. And Dustin, please back me up on this because I did not watch a ton of Louisville. I'm not trying to say I watched a ton, but I was trying to find certain things for Sean. The dude is fearless.
Oh yeah, dude,
like,
he is. I mean,
he will stand in and take hits, but he will not dive out of a pocket.
Can I tell you something, guys? This sucker, this song gun, snapped his leg and tried to play another snap with it.
Yeah.
Dude,
that's
he
tough.
tried to play another snap, and then when he put pressure on it, it just gave out. And
So he actually stayed in the game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tough as some bitch I ever seen, man. I'm telling you.
That's the impression I got. So fearless in the pocket. I wouldn't say like it was an elite Josh Allen level arm, but dude was making some howitzer kind of throws to the sideline and definitely had the arm talent you'd want. He's played in 3 different systems, so it's not like he's going to be unfamiliar with stuff. He's got the size, the strength. He's a little more mobile than I think.
He's got some wheels. Yeah, he can move.
The stats don't look like he's a very mobile guy, but he was able to maneuver in the pocket. But he also just seemed...
Put it this way, he ran so much that they had to tell him to stop, like because he was getting hurt.
Fair enough. And then the other thing, I was reading an article because I was trying to prepare for this because, like I said, I haven't watched a ton. Braum said he felt comfortable giving Shough 3-4 plays at the line of scrimmage and having him because he's 24 years old playing against college kids. He has the mental part of it. The injury history is certainly a concern, but he's got the arm, he's got the size, got the mentals. I can see how he's an appealing prospect as people kind of put together their big boards in terms of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, could he be drafted 2 overall? Do we think that's possible? I mean, I know
I don't
the indication is to say no because of mock drafts, but you never know. I mean,
he's got a couple things going against him. I mean, he's got his age, which say what you want about him. If you're 25, 26 years old, and you play like Peyton Manning, okay, who cares?
Right.
But like you're a guy who's 25, 26 years old, who has been to 3 different schools.
Right.
You had a really devastating injury last year. The last couple of years, he had a shoulder, I think, the previous year too, maybe a knee. I don't know. I mean, there's red flags, dude. It's risk. There's risk.
2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, 4th. What do we think?
Sure, anything in the second and after.
Would you be surprised if a team traded up late in the 1st round to get him so they had that 5th-year option?
I never am because I think if you got a guy with a 2nd round grade, to your point about that extra year, that's big. And then you go get the guy, you jump ahead of everybody. You don't got to go to bed worrying about where this guy's going to be on day 2.
Right. Because so as we talked about before, there are 6 teams in the top 9 of the draft that need a quarterback. Let's say, Cam and Shador go 1-2.
In the draft, they're just the first 2 teams that need quarterbacks.
In the draft.
Okay.
But whatever. Let's say 2 of those 6 teams. Well, now the other 4 that didn't get a quarterback, if you're one of the Saints picking like 9.
Saints are 9.
They might feel like, well, we like Tyler Shough or what's the kid that people
Jackson Dart.
Dart.
Yeah.
We better get ahead of the Raiders and the Giants. So let's trade up to the end of the 32nd pick. Because going from 40 to 32 is not that big you're not giving up that much. So teams might do that if it only takes one team that really likes him. Yeah. And by the way, there's a couple of teams drafting later. Pittsburgh could take a quarterback. The Rams could take a quarterback with all the Stafford situation going on. So, you never know who sees. It's only 28 teams could look at a quarterback and say, he's all right. But there might be 1 or 2 or 3 that's like, this guy, there's something about him here we like.
Is Shough on the same level as Jackson Dart, in your opinion, in terms of
who do you like better of those two?
Oh, that's a good question. I think Jackson Dart, to me. But, I mean, I've only seen both of them play a handful of games.
Yeah.
One person I got to call a game and talk to him. So maybe it's close. It's close.